Okay, welcome back to Let's Talk About, and today we're going to talk about your favorite subject. You. It's you. And me. I'll explain later. But yeah, we're going to look at words and phrases to talk about yourself in English. Words and phrases like, I've been teaching for donkey's years. If you asked me where I'm originally from, I'd have to say, I recently turned 40. There was this one time when it has its ups and downs, and fitness freak, and many more. So yeah, let's talk about yourself. Okay, so we're going to do it a bit differently today. Today I'm going to talk about my favorite subject, me. I'm going to talk about who I am, what I do, what I've done, what I like, and much, much more. Then, after that, we're going to look at the language I used to talk about myself. Got it? Good. Okay, so yeah, let's go. Hi, I'm Gabriel. I teach English online and I run a blog, podcast and YouTube channel called Clark and Miller. I've been teaching for donkey's years, like about 17 years now, and I really enjoy it. Well, most aspects of it at least. I mean, it has its ups and downs sometimes, and it can be quite demanding, but it is a satisfying job. About 15 years ago, I did an MA in linguistics and language teaching. It was awesome. I got so into it and it really informed my teaching and reignited my passion for language and language teaching. I've lived all over the world. In fact, I was brought up in the Middle East, countries like Yemen, Tunisia, the UAE and Syria. So I went to international schools until I was 10. At the moment, I'm living in Plovdiv, a city in Bulgaria with my partner and my cat. We've been here for about 5 years. If you asked me where I'm originally from, I'd have to say Brighton, a seaside town in the UK near London. What's that? How old am I? How rude. Just kidding. I don't mind. In fact, I'm rather enjoying the aging process. I recently turned 40. So although I'm no spring chicken anymore, I don't feel particularly old or even middle-aged, just a guy in his 40s. I've got a few hobbies. I'm a bit of a music geek. I love listening to all sorts of music, and I'm in a band. I'm always in a band or doing something musical. I'm also really into cycling. I bought a bike when we moved to Plovdiv, and since then I've spent more time cycling than walking. I'm also passionate about language and how it works, so I'm always reading something language related. Whenever we can, and when there isn't a global pandemic going on, we try to travel. I've been to over 30 countries, but there are still loads I still want to visit. I still haven't been to sub-Saharan Africa or South America, and I've barely visited Southeast Asia, just Hong Kong when I was a kid. I've also had lots of wonderful and sometimes terrifying and sometimes weird experiences while traveling. There was this one time I had this meal in a fantastic Iraqi restaurant in Sofia. I left at sunset and walked around the area for a bit by myself, but there were a lot of dodgy characters around. Okay, let's analyze the language here. I teach English and I run a blog. Use verbs and actions to talk about what you do. You can say stuff like, I deal with accounts for a car company, or I look after young kids after school, or I walk dogs. You can also say your position too, if you like. So you can say, I'm an accountant for a car company, or I'm a babysitter, or I'm a dog walker, or, whatever you are. Okay, next. I've been teaching for donkey's years. That's just a long time. You can also say for ages, like I've been working in sales for ages. By the way, in sales, you can say in to describe your industry. So I work in education, my brother works in sales, and Jacinda Ardern works in politics. It has its ups and downs. Most jobs aren't perfect, right? Most jobs, they have their ups and downs. They're good bits and they're bad bits. You can also say things like, my job's okay on the whole, or it's mostly good, or it has its ups and downs. Unless you have the perfect job, then you can say things like, I love my job, it's my dream job, or I can't imagine doing anything else, or even I never would have believed I'd be doing this, not in a million years. And if your job sucks, then sorry about that. Just say, my job sucks. Right, university stuff. When you're talking about your experience at university or uni, just uni, you can say things like, I went to Ankara Uni, or I studied at Berkeley. You usually don't need to say, I graduated. I mean, we know. Why would you talk about going to a university that you hadn't graduated from? Having said that, you can say stuff like, I'm an Oxford grad, or she's a Harvard grad, or they're a Vietnam national grad. Okay, moving on. Training and career stuff. You can definitely say that a course really informed your work, or that it reignited a passion for HR management. Yes, if training and professional development, or just PD, is doing its job, then this is what should happen. You should feel passionate about it. Though sometimes these sessions can be a total waste of time. Childhood. That's something that's happened to us all, right? I mean, almost all of us. When talking about your childhood, you can say you were brought up in Amsterdam, or brought up in the countryside, or brought up in a small town outside Omsk, or wherever you were brought up, wherever you spent your childhood. Where you live. Notice that I said I'm living in Plovdiv, not I live in Plovdiv. Why did I say that? I said that because I am special. Nah, just kidding. I said it because my situation is kind of temporary. Basically, if it wasn't for this global pandemic, I'm talking about COVID now. If it wasn't for COVID, I'd be in Australia now. But most people aren't living somewhere temporarily like me. So most of the time you wouldn't say I'm living in a suburb of Delhi, for example. You'd just say I live in a suburb of Delhi, or I live just outside Inverness, or, wherever you live. But where we're from and where we live is kind of different, right? So you can say stuff like, I live in Milan, but I'm originally from Naples, or I'm from Santiago, but I'm living in Istanbul these days for work. Okay, hobbies and interests. What are you into? You could be a music geek, or a fitness freak, or a board games nerd, or a bowling person. Whatever it is, it's something you're into. You're just into it. Or even passionate about it, if you're lucky. You can say that you're always listening to music, or always at the gym, or always playing board games, or always bowling. Notice, again, we say I'm always listening to music, not I always listen to music, which is also possible. But why? Why I'm always listening to music? Good question. If you use the present continuous like this, I'm always listening to music, then you're basically saying, I do this so much that it's kind of weird. You're drawing attention to the fact that you do it a lot. You're exaggerating how much you do it. Finally, we like to talk about our general experiences, right? When we meet new people, it's good to tell stories. That's why I told that long and elaborate story about my time in Sofia. But don't steal my story. That's my story. Make your own. I can't help you with your story. It's your story, right? But when introducing it, you can say stuff like, there was this one time when, or the strangest thing happened to me once. And then tell your story. And what is your story? Seriously, I want to know. When was the last time you saw something weird? When was the last time something ridiculously funny happened to you? Or even something scary? We live, we experience things, and then we have stories. So tell me yours. And also just tell me about you. Who are you? Who are you? Where are you from? What are you into? Tell me everything. Yeah, just tell me everything. Meanwhile, you know what I'm going to say now, right? It's that special time of the year when everyone's thinking about the things they have to do. And one of the things you have to do if you've reached over 2 minutes into a video on YouTube, you just have to. It's the bloody rules. You have to subscribe. You have to click like. Or click like? You have to click like. Because if you don't, they're going to come to get you. No, not really. But click subscribe, click like. You liked it, you subscribe. That's the rules. It's YouTube. You know how it goes. Meanwhile, thanks very much. It's good to talk about ourselves, right? So I'm looking forward to hearing all about you in the comments below. And thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.